Before this video ends, you are going to think of one specific person in your life. Someone you trusted. Someone you gave access to. Someone you believed was genuinely on your side. And you are going to realize, maybe for the first time, that they were never as safe as you thought. Stay with that feeling, because what you are about to learn is going to change how you see every relationship you have. On the morning of March 15th, 44 BC, Julius Caesar walked into the theater of Pompey and sat down before the Roman Senate. He had been warned. A note had been slipped into his hand just moments before. His wife had begged him not to go. The omens were bad. He ignored all of it. Not because he was reckless, but because he trusted the men around him. And within minutes he was dead. Stabbed 23 times. Not by his enemies. Not by barbarians at the gates. Not by a foreign army that had sworn to destroy him. By his friends. By the men he had pardoned, promoted, trusted with power. And the man who drove the final blade, Brutus, was the one Caesar loved most. Here is what most people will never understand about trust. The closer someone is to you, the more access they have to your vulnerabilities. And the more access they have to your vulnerabilities, the more capable they are of destroying you. This is not pessimism. This is the most important law of human nature you will ever learn. And once you understand it, truly understand it, you will never be blindsided again. Most of us are taught from childhood that loyalty is the natural byproduct of closeness. The longer someone has been in your life, the more you can trust them. The more you have given to someone, the more they owe you. The deeper the friendship, the safer you are. This is one of the most dangerous lies ever handed to you. Robert Greene identified this in Law 2 of the 48 Laws of Power. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. When most people read that law for the first time, they reject it. It sounds cold, cynical, paranoid. But look at your own life. Trace back every moment someone truly hurt you, every betrayal that cut deep, every deception that left a mark. Who was it? It was not a stranger. It was not someone you barely knew. It was someone close. Someone you had invested in. Someone you believed was on your side. Because strangers have no reason to betray you. They have no access to what you care about. They have no knowledge of your weaknesses. They have no stake in your rise or your fall. But a friend knows everything. They know what you fear. They know what you want. They know the gaps in your armor. They have watched you at your most vulnerable and filed every detail away, not out of malice, not always, but because that is what proximity does. Proximity creates information. And information in the wrong moment becomes a weapon. Now here is where it gets more dangerous. It is not just that friends have access to your weaknesses. It is what happens psychologically when someone watches you succeed. Envy is the most underestimated force in human relationships. We talk about jealousy openly. We acknowledge rivalry. But envy, the specific corrosive resentment that builds when someone close to you has what you want, is almost never spoken about directly. Because to admit you envy someone, you have to admit you feel inferior to them. And almost no one will do that. So instead it transforms. It becomes criticism dressed as concern. Distance disguised as busyness. Sabotage presented as honest feedback. And here is the devastating truth about envy. It is most intense between people who are nearly equal. A stranger who is more successful than you barely registers. They exist in a different world. Their success has nothing to do with yours. But a friend, someone you grew up with, someone you started alongside, someone you once considered your equal, their success is a verdict on your failure. Every step they take forward is, in the mind of the envious, a step that proves you are behind. This is why friends betray. Not because they are evil, but because human psychology cannot sustain unlimited goodwill towards someone whose success reminds them of their own inadequacy. Caesar did not understand this. He believed that pardoning his enemies, showing mercy, elevating former rivals would earn him loyalty. He believed that generosity created gratitude. It did not. It created obligation. And obligation, when it becomes heavy enough, curdles into resentment. Brutus did not hate Caesar because Caesar had wronged him. Brutus resented Caesar because Caesar had been good to him. And in the culture of Roman nobility, to owe everything to one man was to be owned by that man. The betrayal was not personal. It was psychological. It was inevitable. Now let us understand the mechanism precisely. Because once you see it, you will recognize it everywhere. There are 3 triggers that turn a trusted person into a threat. The first is envy. We have already established this. When your rise makes someone close to you feel diminished, the relationship has shifted. They may not show it immediately. In fact, the more sophisticated the person, the longer they will conceal it. But the signal is there. Watch for the friend who subtly minimizes your wins. The colleague who qualifies every compliment. The person who supports you loudly in public but never quite shows up when it matters. The second trigger is entitlement. This is what happens when a friend has been close to you long enough to believe they deserve a share of what you have built, simply because they were present while you built it. They have not earned it. They have not contributed in proportion to what they expect. But in their mind, proximity equals ownership. When you do not deliver what they feel entitled to, the promotion, the credit, the cut, the loyalty in return, the friendship does not quietly end. It inverts. The person who felt entitled now feels robbed. And a person who feels robbed will find a way to take what they believe they are owed. The third trigger is the most subtle. It is proximity itself. The longer someone has been close to you, the more normal your success becomes to them. In the beginning, they may have admired you. But familiarity erodes admiration the way water erodes stone. Slowly, invisibly, until one day the awe is gone, and all that remains is a detailed knowledge of exactly who you are, flaws, fears, and all. And at that point, you are no longer impressive to them. You are just a person they know too well. A person whose weaknesses they have cataloged. A person they believe they understand completely. That is when the danger peaks. So what do you do with this? First, understand that this is not a call to isolate yourself. Isolation is its own trap. A man with no allies is an easy target. A woman who trusts no one builds nothing that lasts. What this demands is a shift from emotional trust to strategic trust. Emotional trust is what most people operate on. It is based on feeling, on history, on the assumption that because someone has never betrayed you yet, they never will. Strategic trust is different. It is based on alignment of interest. Robert Greene identified this when he observed that a hired enemy, a former rival brought into your circle, is often more loyal than a lifelong friend. Why? Because the former enemy has something to prove. They have no sense of entitlement, no accumulated resentment from watching your rise, no belief that they are owed anything. They understand the terms of the relationship. They understand what they get by staying loyal and what they lose by defecting. That is alignment of interest. And alignment of interest is the only foundation for trust that holds under pressure. So the question to ask about anyone in your circle is not, how long have I known this person? The question is, what does this person gain by being loyal to me? And what do they lose if they are not? If you cannot answer that clearly, if the relationship is based entirely on sentiment and shared history, you have a vulnerability, not an alliance. Now here is where most people get this wrong. They hear everything said so far and they swing to the extreme. They become cold, closed. They start treating every relationship as a transaction. They pull back, build walls, and in doing so, they signal something dangerous, that they are afraid. And fear, more than anything, attracts exactly the predators you are trying to avoid. The goal is not to stop trusting people. The goal is to stop trusting blindly. Learn to watch behavior, not words. Words are the cheapest thing a person can give you. Everyone can say the right thing. Almost no one can consistently do the right thing when it costs them something. Watch what people do when you cannot benefit them. Watch how they treat you when you are struggling, not when you are ascending. Watch who shows up when the room is empty and the cameras are off. Greene wrote that the most revealing test of any person is not how they act towards someone powerful, it is how they act towards someone who can do nothing for them. That principle cuts in every direction. Apply it to the people around you and the picture will become very clear very fast. There is one final thing to understand. When Caesar was stabbed, his last recorded act was to pull his toga over his face. Not to fight. Not to flee. To cover himself. Some historians interpret that as dignity in death. Others interpret it as the gesture of a man who simply could not bear to look at the faces of the people killing him. Because he knew them. He had chosen them. He had trusted them. And the worst part of any betrayal is never the damage itself. It is the realization that the warning signs were there all along. That you saw them and chose not to see them. The toga over the face was not dignity. It was the last act of a man who finally understood too late that he had confused proximity for loyalty, gratitude for safety, friendship for immunity. You still have time to learn what Caesar learned too late. Not everyone in your circle is your enemy, but some of them are. And the ones most capable of destroying you are the ones you would least expect. Study the people around you, not with paranoia, with clarity. The strategic mind does not fear betrayal. It anticipates it, accounts for it, and builds in ways that make it irrelevant. Because the most powerful version of you is not the one who trusts everyone. It is the one who can never be destroyed by misplaced trust again. If this video made you think of someone, you already know what that means. The fact that a name or a face came to mind is not a coincidence. That is your strategic mind waking up. Pay attention to it. If you want to go deeper into the laws that govern power, trust, and human behavior, subscribe to Mind Over Madness. Every video on this channel is built to give you the real rules that most people are never taught. And if you are ready to sharpen your understanding of the 48 laws, watch this next. It will change how you see every room you walk into.